All right, so right now we're just kind of waiting for some people to join in, and as we're getting going here, we're going to be playing this sweet KCI 2.0 list that originally I saw posted in this KCI 2.0 post-ban Facebook list. And Canister actually streamed it, I believe at the request of some viewers, and the deck definitely intrigued me. I wasn't even really a KCI player prior to the ban, but I knew how powerful KCI was, and so the big question was, once this came up on stream, was is this deck anywhere near the power level of the original KCI? And I've been kind of testing and grinding this deck a lot, and this deck has really impressed me, especially with the ability to compete and contend with tier 1, tier 2 decks. I'm kind of experimenting with this list right now. I'm not really sure about the exact 75. This list definitely does differ from the original list that Canister had posted and tested with. And some of the things I found in testing was that and that should be in here. Yeah, here we go. The fourth mirror retriever was needed. It's the original KCI list played anywhere from 1 to 2, just because Scrap Trawler was much more of a vital card that was used in allowing the deck to go off. And this deck, for it to actually go off and win, needs mirror retriever. So there's just some times where you may not have a Scrap Trawler out, but having a mirror retriever in hand increases the likelihood of winning and hitting another Scrap Trawler in your graveyard, another mirror retriever in your graveyard without having a Scrap Trawler out, by just kind of cycling eggs. So I've added the fourth mirror retriever here. I've been testing with that. I've been very happy with that. I've also added a chromatic sphere into the deck. Just as another early cycler. These are usually really important just to be able to kind of cycle through your deck as soon as possible. I'm kind of not married to the chromatic sphere here. I've been relatively happy with it so far. But I'm kind of testing around with that. We've also added a Tormod's Crypt into the main deck with all of the graveyard decks that are out there between Izzet Phoenix and Dredge. Some of these top tier decks really utilizing their graveyard. This deck or this card can be extremely powerful just because of Scrap Trawler. Cycling any egg or anything like that going to the graveyard is going to bring this Tormod's Crypt back to your hand, so that's extremely powerful. Let me update with versions in my collection. There we go. Okay, perfect. The other thing that I've done is I believe the original list had 1 Inventor's Fair. I found this card to be critical sometimes and just being able to tutor up for a last piece that you need. So I've added another Inventor's Fair here. And I've also added a third Buried Ruin. The original list was playing 2. This card is also extremely powerful and helps us to be able to grind against Thoughtseize, Inquisition decks, cards like Ancient Grudge or Assassin's Trophies, things like that. This is just a really grindy card. Also can bring something like a Semblance Anvil back through a counterspell or an Oblivion Stone, something like that, just to kind of bring a piece back to our hand. The other thing that I've kind of been playing around with, and for now I'm just going to stick with these 2 in the main deck, are the Size. The original list had 2. I've gone down to 0 in the main deck before. Psy definitely provides an alternate win condition in the deck. Even KCI was playing 1 in their main deck. anywhere from 1 to 2, I suppose, just because it's such a powerful card, especially when you get Scrap Trawler online. I don't think this is where you want to be on your main game plan. You know, you're not always trying to grind them out with Psi. We really want to try to win as quickly as possible with this, but Psi does provide an alternate win condition and can also buy us a lot of time with the Thopters that we're able to make. And then the 2 Engineered Explosives in the main deck has been really great. Sometimes it just getting through, buying us time, getting through hate cards. It's just a really versatile card, and obviously one that we can continue to bring back with once we have a Scrap Trawler online. So that's really powerful. The sideboard is very similar, I guess, in some ways, but I guess different in a couple that I'll talk about from the original list that was posted. The original list, I believe, had maybe 2 negates and 1 Swan Song. I really have found that Swan Song's efficiency is really important, being able to just need 1 mana up. Sometimes we want to, on turn 3, play our Semblance Anvil into a grinding station and start going off, and maybe it means we just have a single source of mana. Maybe that's a Mox Opal or something like that, where Swan Song is just really crucial there. And it hits a lot of things that that we really are concerned with. It hits instants, it hits sorceries, it hits enchantments, and it gives our opponent a 2/2 bird, but we're not really too concerned with that because we're not normally too concerned about our life total unless we're under a lot of pressure. We have another Psi in the sideboard. As I mentioned, sometimes we just need to be able to juke decks after sideboarding because they're going to bring in a lot of hate. They can bring in, Rest in Pieces or things that are going to destroy our artifacts, and we want to kind of be able to play on a different axis sometimes after sideboarding. And so Psi allows us to do that. A lot of times they maybe want to cut some creature removal and really just go after our combo, and this allows us to win through the combo. Same with Aether Grid, plays really well through Stony Silence. Lantern Control used to play this card as well, being able to tap artifacts and deal damage so it can pick off small creatures. It can also play really well through just other pieces of hate that may come in. It gives us an alternate win condition. Galvanic Blast is just another card that's great at being able to pick off creatures like Thalia or Kataki's War Wage, just anything that might be a little disruptive to us that we need to kind of deal with and get off the board, and also buys us time. One thing that KCI started doing that I've kind of been experimenting with when I've been playing this in paper is playing a 2/2 split, playing 2 Galvanic Blast and 2 Lightning Bolts. Just because of Meddling Mage and humans, it gives a little bit more diversity to, if they name Galvanic Blast, still having 2 Lightning Bolts in the deck, something like that. I am playing 4 Nature's Claims. This card is really crucial to being able to get around most of our opponent's hate cards. Leyline of the Void, Rest in Peace, why am I spacing out on the card? The 2 mana artifact that we have to pay 1 more for each spell that comes into play, that also affects Tron. I don't know, I'm spacing out on the name right now. Please help me. The Nature's Claim, anyway, is going to deal with all of those cards, and usually after sideboarding we're going to bring some number of these in anyway, expecting them to be bringing in those hate cards that are going to affect us. Also playing a second Tormod's Crypt in the sideboard here, and then Defense Grid is another card that I've been testing with. I saw Matt Nass was starting to play this in KCI, and he's expecting to play against blue-white control. It's really good against counter spells and things like that, because obviously they have to pay 3 more for those spells on our turn, and it can also be used to bait out a counter spell. So it's just really good there. So we're going to get ready to fire this up and do some testing with it in just a moment. So I'm just going to post on here on the KCI post-ban group that we are live now and that they can join in. And come join us on Twitch. Okay, perfect. So we've done that. I'm also going to post to one more group. Let's see, I should have, okay. Okay, perfect. So we are going to go live here. Perfect. All right, let's get in and do some testing here. All right. All right, I think we've covered everything in the main deck that we needed to here. Yeah, we definitely talked about size. Size a critical card. All right. I'm actually going to set my music up on repeat here. Is there a way to... I kind of just want to set this song right here on repeat, and I don't know how to do that. Okay. All right, let's get in and play some games with KCI 2.0. Okay, so we're gonna hop in and get everything going here. Feel free to join in on chat too. I have chat up, so if you send anything over chat, I'll get that and be able to respond. As well as I'd appreciate any subscribing, following. Please subscribe to my channel, follow. We're always happy to test out anything. I'll be playing a lot of this KCI 2.0 deck, just testing for GP Vegas that's coming up. Really just getting a lot of reps with this deck and trying to make sure that I feel comfortable with where this deck is at, positioned in the meta. I think it's good so far. But you know, we're also going to probably be playing some poppers, some standard, a little bit of everything. So we're going to hop in here. All right, we're going to hop into a game here. Let's see if we can get a game going here. Okay, let's bring this over. Okay, so we won the die roll. That's good. All right, so these are some interesting hands that the deck brings sometimes. We have 2 Mirror Retrievers, which is good. This is how we win. We don't really have any combo pieces yet, but I'm typically okay with keeping a hand like this, especially if I have a 1 mana egg that I can use to cycle. We also have a Darksteel Citadel, which means that this will turn on our Mox Opal. So it's not the most amazing hand, but I think this is still okay to keep. Hopefully we draw into another land, but let's go ahead and keep this and just kind of find out what our opponent's on here. So we're going to play out our Chromatic Star. And we're going to go ahead and pass the turn. Windswept Heath, okay. Into a forest. Into a Birds of Paradise, interesting. This could be a Collected Company deck that our opponent's on. Okay, so let's go ahead and just play out our Mox Opal. And we're going to go ahead and it's really important that we do it in this order. We want to make sure that we tap this because this Chromatic Star is going to go away whenever we cycle that. So we're going to use the green mana to make a green. Green's usually the most important color that we're going to be adding with this deck because of Ancient Stirrings. So we're going to use that green and then this Darksteel Citadel. And we're going to go ahead and play out this Ichor Wellspring. So. Okay, Engineer Explosives. Really would have liked to have hit another land drop there, but all right, Windswept Heath. Utopia Sprawl. Okay. All right. Overgrowth. Okay. So Engineer Explosives on 1 actually would have been pretty good there, but we missed our land drop again. Let's see. Let's go ahead and just play out this Ichor Wellspring. We really need to hit another land drop. Yikes. All right, so we've missed our land drop again. We drew a Grinding Station, which is good. I mean, that's part of our combo, but our opponent is has access to a lot of mana. Yeah, ability to untap more lands. Yeah, so they're probably going to start playing some pretty big threats here, I'm guessing. And now I'm starting to feel like the Engineering Explosives on 1 isn't really where our game plan is going to be anymore. We really just need to hit our land drops. Non-creature permanent. Okay. Yep. This could be the like Xenagos Emrakul combo deck, like a Tooth and Nail deck. Like we're not too worried about Eternal Witness. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty good. So they're kind of going to keep us off tempo. So yeah, probably just Primal Command, I'm guessing. All right, let's just go ahead and play this Ichor Wellspring out. We'll draw another card. Still missing our land drops. Ouch. So probably, yeah, probably Primal Command again. Yeah, sure. Tooth and Nail. Yep. So this is probably the Tooth and Nail Emrakul combo. Revealed Zone. Yeah, so that should be enough to get us to concede here. Yeah, missing land drops really hurt us there. I mean, there is Eternal Witness, but I don't know that Tormod's Crypt is really where we want to be. Oh, okay. All right, well, I guess our opponent just didn't want to play anymore. That's fine. All right, so now we're just going to wait to get into another match here. And in here soon, we're going to run this through a league, but it was kind of late tonight, so we just kind of wanted to play some matches. Leagues are nice because, oops, let me drag this over. Leagues are nice just because you don't have a lot of opponents that are going to quit like that just because there's more at stake. You're going to get to the sideboarded games, but sometimes it happens. Ouch. Wow, look at this hand. Okay. This is not what we want to be seeing here. Yeah, I guess we keep this. Don't need any more land right now, so. Yeah, we are not doing well with lands tonight. We are missing some land drops. Or just having like really weird openers, so. Blood Crypt, okay. Could be Death Shadow. I'm not really sure what we're playing against yet. Let's play a Grove of the Burn Willows. There's definitely value in making our opponent gain life if we're playing against Death Shadow. I don't know if we are, but just in case, let's go ahead and make our opponent gain life. That's going to be really crucial. We're going to play an Ichor Wellspring here. Hopefully just draw us into something like a Semblance Anvil or, okay, Mox Opal's not necessarily what we're looking for. Wooded Foothills, okay, so this doesn't look like Death Shadow unless it's kind of more of the like 5-color version that's not Grixis. Okay, interesting. Our opponent hasn't done anything yet. Okay, Chromatic Star. That at least allows us to cycle. I'm going to go ahead and play this out. I don't know if I care about our opponent's life total right now, so we're going to go ahead and add a green, draw a card. Another Grove. That's really interesting. Okay. You know, we could play this Grinding Station, maybe just to play around a card like Inquisition or Thoughtseize. They could also have something like a Knight of Autumn. Normally, I don't like playing these combo pieces out like just into open things, but we kind of need to get something going here. I'm just going to keep making my opponent gain life just because we don't know exactly what they're on yet. I'm going to choose to mill myself here. We do have a Buried Ruin, so we just kind of want to draw some cards right now. Yeah, and we have Engineered Explosive, so and sometimes it's hard because we don't know what kind of hate we could be playing this into. I mean, it could just be a call against command, or keeping it in hand, we're exposing it to Inquisition or Thoughtseize. Playing it out, we're exposing it to, interesting, what is this deck? 5 colors, blue, red, green, white, black, blue, yeah, black, blue. I don't know what we're playing here. So now our opponent could be playing counter magic. Well, I don't want to play this Buried Ruin out yet, because if we are playing into counter magic, I want our opponent to use that counter magic, and we can bring this back with Buried Ruin. Yeah, for now we have 1 Mirror Retriever in hand, so if we mill another Mirror Retriever here, we can just win. But I actually think I'm going to hold on. To this, because I really would like to have something else in hand, another artifact. Like, I just don't feel like we have enough yet. We play Simlit's Anvil, we have to exile our Mox Opal. And then the only thing that we really have to sack is this other Mox Opal to hope to hit a Mirror Retriever. Where our chances get a lot better if we have Ichor Wellspring, because we see a card off of it entering the battlefield and going to the graveyard, plus milling ourselves for 3, so 5 new cards. Bloodbraid Elf, sure. Into Tarmogoyf, okay. Is this like a 5-color shadow deck? I'm really confused. Sure, so we're taking 3. That doesn't anywhere near match the power level of what we're going to be doing. Or what our game plan is. So yeah, I'm actually going to sack this Buried Ruin, and we're going to bring back this Ichor Wellspring. So we're going to pay, well, let's see. If our opponent is playing Death Shadow, then I still just want them to gain life. I don't really care about their life otherwise. So let's bring back the Ichor Wellspring, and let's make our opponent just gain some more life. I don't know if they are, but this is really a strange combination for whatever they're playing. This is not normal, like Jund or Abzan or something like that. So okay, well, we drew a Darksteel Citadel. I don't really have a reason to play that out yet. I guess I do, actually, because I'm going to float that mana. We have an untapped trigger on the stack. That's fine. Let's just go ahead and let this resolve, and then let's just give our opponent a bunch of life here. And then we're going to play a Simlit's Anvil, and then we'll get rid of this Mox Opal here. So with our Grinding Station, untapped trigger on the stack, we're going to mill ourselves by getting rid of this Darksteel Citadel, just because we don't really need it. Okay, so no Mirror Retriever yet, but we have plenty of opportunity to keep going. Yes. So we're exiling the Mox Opal, and we still have a Mox Opal in play. Let's go ahead and just float another mana and mill ourselves by getting rid of this Mox Opal. And then let's just bring up our graveyard here. No other Mirror Retriever yet. Okay, so we'll draw a card here. Grinding Station untaps. We draw a card from Ichor Wellspring. We are going to mill ourselves again, hitting the Ichor Wellspring, hoping to draw another artifact, not a land. Ancient Stirrings, that's actually good for us. We have green floating off of our Mox Opal, so we can actually go digging for something here. Best case, we hit a Mirror Retriever. Ooh, that's an interesting hit there. A lot of lands. That's not what we're looking for. But we're going to see 4 new cards now because we have a Terrarion. We're going to draw a card and we're going to choose to mill ourselves. So we just saw 5 cards plus 2 off of the Wellspring. We're seeing a lot of cards this turn. I mean, this is why this deck is just really good, and Grinding Station works as a draw engine for the deck. Yep, so we're going to mill ourselves, and we're going to sack our Terrarion, which draws us a card and puts 3 more in the graveyard. We're really just looking for another Mirror Retriever here, or just ways to keep going. So Psi is not what we're looking for. Let's see. Well, we do have a mana floating, which means we can play Mirror Retriever, sack Mirror Retriever. Yeah, so since we have this mana floating, it's really important, just because that allows us to bring back and play a Scrap Trawler, sack the Scrap Trawler to bring a Mirror Retriever. So we have a way to, at least put another 3 cards in a graveyard. I'm going to sack this Mirror Retriever. I'm going to use Mirror Retriever's ability to bring back Scrap Trawler. And then we're going to mill ourselves for 3. Because we get to play our Scrap Trawler for 1. So there's the other Mirror Retriever. So now we just play this for 1. Unless our opponent has random interaction in the main deck, then we just win here. Like if they just have like a random Surgical Extraction in the main deck. But so now we can safely just choose to mill our opponent, and then we're going to sacrifice our Scrap Trawler, and then with our Scrap Trawler we'll bring back Mirror Retriever, and then we'll start kind of trying to shortcut this a little bit. It's a little difficult and challenging to kind of play online. At this point, playing this in paper, you just demonstrate the loop to your opponent, who, that you can do the loop, X amount of times. So all right, so we're gonna mill them, we're gonna sack that, and we're gonna bring back our other Mirror Retriever, which is right here. Okay, and then we're gonna choose to always yield, and then we're gonna always yield here as well. Okay, so we play this out. This untaps, yes. And then we want to mill them, sack this, Mirror Retriever ability, bring this back. And we're going to play this again. And this is going to untap. This is where it gets a little bit tedious playing it online. So mill them, Mirror Retriever, bring back the other Mirror Retriever. And then we just keep doing this until we win. So basically, we do this until our opponent has no cards left in their deck, and then we pass. And sometimes your opponents will make you play it out. That's fine. Maybe they're just waiting to see if you make a mistake or something like that. Or, just trying to run your clock down, make it harder for you to win, especially if you guys go to a game 3 or something. But like I said, if you're playing this in paper, it's definitely easier. You just have to demonstrate the loop, and if your opponent doesn't, have a way to interrupt that loop, then you just win. And you guys can just go to the next game. So it's actually really, it seems really slow playing it on Magic Online, but it's actually really fast when you're playing it in paper. So there's just a lot of times where turn 3 or turn 4, you just have the combo, and then you can just kind of go off. So Mirror Retriever, bringing back Mirror Retriever. So after this, our opponent's going to have 14 cards left in their deck. And I guess I'll just mention this while we're going through this loop. Let's say, like in the first game, or the first match that we played, our opponent had Emrakul in their deck. Obviously, that opponent we can't mill out because Emrakul will reshuffle their graveyard back into their library when it hits the graveyard. So it's literally impossible to mill them out. But we still have a way to win through that. So basically what we need to assemble to win through that is a Pyrite Spellbomb loop, and the way that we do that is we just get a Mirror Retriever in play, a Mirror Retriever in the graveyard like this setup, and then a Scrap Trawler in play. And basically then we're able to loop our Mirror Retriever and Scrap Trawler triggers to make infinite mana with Mox Opal. And then we use that infinite mana by looping Pyrite Spellbomb. So that's how we're able to do that. And now that I mention that, actually, Pyrite Spellbomb actually isn't in our main deck as we're testing right now. In paper, I've actually put it back in just because it can hit. I guess that we actually don't need to mill our opponent out. They're already out of cards. I mainly brought it back in just because of playing against things like humans and small creatures and stuff. It really comes in handy. But it is actually how we can win through Emrakul and reshuffle effects and things like that. So, we don't even have it in our main deck right now, but, I think it is an addition that I brought back in paper. I just forgot to kind of add it in here. To do that, and there's just not a lot of like Emrakul type decks running around right now, so I haven't been too concerned with decks that are able to like reshuffle their graveyard back in, and otherwise it can be kind of awkward. Anyway, okay, so we're playing. We still actually don't. I guess we should have looked at our opponent's graveyard a lot more to see kind of exactly what they're playing, but. First time on Twitch stream, so I'm not playing, I guess, as efficiently as I could in some of those instances. We did see a Bloodbraid Elf. We saw the Tarmogoyf. That our opponent's on kind of a mid-range strategy is what we're assuming. So Engineering Explosives is still pretty fine in that strategy. Sai actually shines. We don't really know what our opponent might have access to after sideboarding, just because of the type of they're playing like all 5 colors, so it's going to be really challenging. They could have access somewhere to Scavenging Ooze, which makes me want to bring in some interaction for that. We're usually always going to bring in some Nature's Claims just because of nature of our opponents always bringing in some type of hate against us. I don't think Aether Grid is the best option here. We could bring in some Swan Songs to play around like Surgicals or something if we wanted. Tormod's Crypt's okay. I mean, it shrinks Tarmogoyf, but I'm not too concerned with that right now. Usually what I do is kind of trim on the combo. Chromatic Sphere is the worst of the early cyclers. I can usually cut a Terrarion. And then I've kind of been doing a thing where I'm trimming like one of each of the combo pieces. So the combo's still there, but we kind of have a more kind of sleek deck here. I could bring in another Galvanic Blast. Swan Song is okay. Could bring in another Nature's Claim, but I mean, I think 3 is sufficient. Scrap Trawler is really powerful whenever we have Sai in our deck, but I think I may just want another Galvanic Blast, maybe? No, I think I just... I think I just want Scrap Trawler still in my deck. I think that's fine. Yeah, let's go with this. So the reason it's important to bring Sai in these post-sideboard games is just because we're expecting so much different types of hate from our opponent. Sai just gives us another win condition, and oftentimes wow, what is going on with our opening hands tonight? This is awful. We're just not hitting any land drops at all. Okay, wow. These hands are really interesting tonight. I mean, we have a Nature's Claim, but you know, that could hit a hate card, but just a Scrap Trawler in hand, I'm not really happy with that either. Let's just keep this. Yeah, this on top is fine. We're kind of a little soft to Inquisition Thoughtseize right now, but Ancient Stirrings is a grindy card. Buried Ruins a grindy card. Inventor's Fair can tutor for another artifact. Temple Garden. Hierarch. Okay. So yeah, now those Galvanic Blasts look pretty good. Yeah, we're gonna go just Forest into a Chromatic Star, and then we're just gonna pass the turn. See what our opponent does here. So having white in their deck means our opponent could have Rest in Peace. They could have Stony Silence. They could have Assassin's Trophies. Okay, Tarmogoyf. So still not under a lot of pressure yet, which is good for us. Sure. Yep. All right, upkeep. Okay, so we do have a Nature's Claim. Okay, let's go ahead and pop this for a green. See what we draw. Thank you, Noob Prager, for following. Definitely appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, thanks, man. Just kind of really getting this stream started, so I'm glad that you're tuned in, and thank you so much for the follow, man. I really appreciate it. Okay, so we cycled our star for a green, so we're able to play Ancient Stirrings. We have our two combo pieces in hand right now. So we have a Semblance Anvil and a Grinding Station. So there's definitely a temptation to take this Mirror Retriever right now, because if we draw anything else, we're able to just really try to go off. We'd like to have a Scrap Trawler in play when we start going off, but that's not always the case. So let's go ahead and just take this Mirror Retriever, and yeah, let's just take the Mirror Retriever. We're still set up pretty good against like Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes, just because we have a Buried Ruin, which is really nice. And by playing one out, I could potentially be, if they have a Ghost Court or something, if I had to expose one of the two, our Inventor's Fair is not necessary right now. Our Buried Ruin is much more necessary if we get into a situation that we need to utilize a land that is a resource. Getting something back from the graveyard is usually pretty important. The other thing that we kind of still need is, we still need something to exile with a Semblance Anvil. Obviously, I'd rather not exile So we're taking 4 here. I'd rather not exile like this Mirror Retriever, obviously, especially since we cut one after sideboarding. If our opponent's like playing Path and they Path 1, like that's not great for us. So yeah, playing this online and commentating through stream, it's also difficult sometimes to beat this clock. Our opponent has 2 mana up, so this could be like an Assassin's Trophy or something. So I don't really want to play into that right now, into their open mana, although we might be forced to eventually. Ooh, the Scrap Trawler actually is really nice because if we draw a land on our next turn, we get to play. And it's kind of tough though. We really just need like other artifacts to exile, but if we have to, we can exile the Scrap Trawler. But then we'd need to draw land and something that's not Scrap Trawler. I'm actually just going to take the Ichor Wellspring here, just because if we... Yeah, and we're actually going to just go ahead and play it out. We do need an artifact to exile with a Semblance Anvil, but we might just draw one here, but this being on the battlefield, we can still sack it. Nature's Claim. It's okay. It's a little weird having 2, but it can gain us 4 life. We can sorry, I'm just now checking out your messages. Yeah, got to draw an artifact, play it out. Yep, we did that, and it is a target for claim. So we're definitely tracking on the same thing here. Wild Cattle, wow. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's see, we're taking 6 here. We're taking 6, so we're going to 9. And then they have 9 on the backswing, but we're not necessarily dead to that because of the Nature's Claim that we have. Yeah, so yeah, so to win, we actually, we could definitely go for it here. We have 2 routes that we can take. Is I can play out this Ichor Wellspring and draw another card, and then just pass the turn and keep up Nature's Claim. We would take 9, which is lethal, but we gain 4, put us at 4, and we draw a card here. But then if they have another, let's see, we'd go to 4. Then if they have like another like Bloodbraid Elf, like we're still not quite dead to that. We can also just play the Semblance Anvil out. We exile, unfortunately we have to exile our Ichor Wellspring. That's usually a really important thing to kind of help us go off. We see a lot of cards with an Ichor Wellspring. But we sack the Ichor Wellspring, we draw a card, and we mill 3. So we're seeing 4 new cards off of it. And we would just need to hit another Mirror Retriever, but we cut 1 from our deck. So what I think is, yeah, no, we can't play the Mirror Retriever out, because if it dies, we definitely need a way to bring it back, and then Buried Room would be a little tight. So I'm thinking here that I actually might just want to play out this Ichor Wellspring. Yeah, Become Immense. Yeah, do they play that card? Like, we should have really looked at our opponent's deck in the game 1 when we like milled our opponent out completely and then just didn't really pay attention. In our upkeep, no, I was gonna say if we had 3 artifacts, we'd also gain a life off of Inventor's Fair. But I think I'm just gonna play out this Ichor Wellspring. But then we're sacking this for like no. We gain 4 life. We draw a card off of it. We draw a card here. If we hit like land Scrap Trawler, like our chances of going off next turn is really good. I really just wish we had another artifact that we didn't have to exile this Ichor Wellspring right now. That sees us a card going to the graveyard, 3 more cards, that's 4 cards. And then maybe we just draw another artifact there. You know what? Heart of the cards, maybe we just go for it. Let's just go all in, man. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's go all in. Let's do it. All right, here we go. Semblance Anvil. We are going to yield to the triggered ability, and we're going to get rid of an Ichor Wellspring. Ouch, that hurts. And then we're just going to go out and play out our grinding station. Untap trigger on the stack. We're going to mill ourselves. We're going to sack this Ichor Wellspring. Hope to draw an artifact. Ouch. That is not what we're looking for. So we do get to play this out. And we're going to tap it for a colorless in case... I don't know. I don't even know why. In case whatever. So we hit our Mirror Retriever. So unless our opponent has Surgical, that means we just win here. And we have 7 minutes. So yeah, we hit our Mirror Retriever. So that's gas. That is absolute gas. So I like having a second grinding station here if possible. Obviously we don't, or I would like to have a green mana up, because if they try to Surgical a Mirror Retriever, then we just Nature's Claim our Mirror Retriever in response. And then when it dies, we target this Mirror Retriever in response to their Surgical, or a grinding station plays around Surgical, a second grinding station. But, you know, we really don't have that. So we're just going to go all in and see if they have a way to disrupt us. And if not, then we just need to play really quick. Okay, so we're going to mill our opponent. We're going to sack this, bring back our other Mirror Retriever. Let's go ahead and start getting some of these yields going. You may untap. So I get nervous. I'm still learning like some of these yields on here on Magic Online. Like sometimes I've yielded before and it just like totally missed my trigger to untap. So there's some of those that are a little more weird. Okay, so now it's just, like I said, if we're playing this in paper and our opponent doesn't have a way to interact, like we can just say, hey, we're demonstrating this loop and we're going to do this X amount of times. And if they don't have a way to interrupt it, then they just lose. But so I apologize. I am just trying to go through this really quickly here. Let's see. Okay. All right. Mirror Retriever, get back the other Mirror Retriever. Yes. We do want to untap. Yes. Sorry. This thing is just kind of moving a little slow right now. We got a lot of game actions that we're taking. Okay, we're in the red on our time clock. Okay, we really just have to concentrate on playing this out as fast as possible. Yes, we want to untap it. Yes, we want to play Mirror Retriever. And this is the part where it's just a little tedious playing it online. Kind of like KCI wasn't like the original KCI was not played as much online. It wasn't truly representative of its share of the meta just because of how tedious it is to play online. And like this loop right here is definitely tedious. We don't have the ability to play Emrakul in our deck like they did, which I mean, I guess we could, but it's not going to be as consistent going for that. We actually do have a way to make infinite mana with the deck as well, and then kill with Pyrite Spellbomb, which, as I mentioned, I don't know if you were on here earlier, I'm not playing Pyrite Spellbomb in the deck right now. There just wasn't a lot of decks with like Emrakuls or ways to like shuffle their like graveyard back into their library. So, you know, and this deck has been very consistent for me. I mean, there's just a lot of instances where you're just going off turn 3, turn 4, and like some of these fair decks, like, I was playing black green too. I just got back from GPLA and I was playing black green, and I day 2'd with Abzan at my last GP, actually Vegas last year. And this year it just didn't quite do it for me. And then I just started, testing this deck. And when you're playing against fair decks, it just feels like what you're doing is just so much more powerful than, what they're trying to do. All right, our opponent's at 0 cards. I kind of want to take a look at this graveyard really quick. We didn't do that earlier. I want to just see what our opponent is playing because I'm really confused. And we get to find out if they had, I'm not playing Ravager actually. I've seen builds with Ravager and I tested it a little bit. I'm not over-testing the card, but when I've tested with Ravager, there were just a lot of times where I drew it, and the times that I drew it, a lot of times I was just like sacking it to a grinding station that I already had out or something like that, because it doesn't work as a draw engine for the deck like grinding station does. But yes, you do get to draw cards off of it sometimes with like your all your eggs and stuff. But okay, so our opponent has Tribal Flames to any target. Oh. Number of basic land types. Okay. So yeah, we definitely could have died to Tribal Flames next turn as well, depending on what he had in hand. That was a card that we could have died to. Was he playing, what did we talk about earlier? Oh, and there's also bolts. Yeah, so if he had like land, bolt, and then just kind of attacked with, no, we would have been at 4 off of our Nature's Claim. But maybe this Tarmogoyf would have grown a little bit. Mantis Rider, that would have been another nasty one. Like Mantis Rider plus, like maybe if he has another land, like another red source, like Mantis Rider plus Bolt, another hasty thing. Leyline of the Void. So he did have hate, so, a couple of Inquisitions. I'm not seeing, what were we talking about earlier? What card were we talking about? Become Immense. Yeah, I'm not seeing, here we go, Damping Sphere. I was mentioning this earlier on the stream, and for the life of me, I cannot think of the name of this card. Yeah, so this is a card that we're always expecting as well, something like this. So Nature's Claims just always come in post-sideboard because they're always going to have some kind of hate. So they definitely had some really aggressive cards in there as well. You will lose the mana. We don't care about the mana because we're just going to win the game when we pass. And our opponent has no cards. Karn in the side. I haven't actually. I'm not actually playing Karn in the side right now. That's another card that I need to give a little bit more of a chance to, because I was playing. Oh, I guess we should put our record. Our first opponent actually quit on us. They won the first game and then they quit on us. So let's go to. Well, I got a lot of things here. Record text. Let me put this up towards the top of my. Let's update our record here. Oh, that's not it. Record text. It's the Okay, here we go. So we are actually technically, I guess. Well, our first opponent quit on us. So I guess we're technically 2-0. They quit after the first game. We're technically 2-0, I suppose. And we just won this one. No, I'm not. So sorry, I'm going to try to answer your questions as they're coming in. So I was testing, sorry, I got really distracted. I was testing out Karn. I felt like Karn was a little slow every time that I tried him out, and sometimes like just putting like a big, token out there was like, it was okay, but I just didn't feel like it was doing a lot for me to like tap out for 4 mana. Another card that I've been testing in paper is Antiquities War, just because if that it digs for artifacts, digs for combo pieces, but also can just end the game because all your artifacts on one turn turn into 5/5s, which I felt like if I was going to spend 4 mana, that was very powerful. I maybe just need to give Karn more a chance. And no, I didn't start a league. It was kind of late when I got started on here, and this is my first time doing a Twitch stream. So we actually just got this stream going, and it was kind of late. And so if I had issues with the stream, which would have been the main reason that I was going to be doing a league, if my stream had any issues or anything like that, I just wanted to make sure that the stream was working well before we like jumped into a league. So that's definitely on the radar soon. Just because I do, obviously people quit less when you're in leagues, so that doesn't happen as much. And then, we get to kind of face some more tier decks as well. So that's good. So how has the stream been going so far? I mean, have you been able to, has there been any lag or any sound issues or anything that you've noticed that, we need to improve on in this stream so far? Because you're definitely one of my first, followers and person to kind of interact on the stream. So I'd love to get your feedback. All right, let's see. Just kind of testing some stuff out here. Okay, so we did get that approved. Just checking. Okay, seeing who else we have potentially getting going on this stream here. Yeah. Let's see. Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that you like everything about it. Yeah, the UI, I would love to be able to change that as well. It actually took me a while to make this because I'm not super well versed in making the UIs. So it definitely took me quite a bit of time, but there is a lot of blank space under there. My issue was when I was trying to stretch out MTGO, like the display window, it was causing things to be like really stretched, like the cards looked really funky if I just kind of like pulled this down. Like if I pulled the window down, like the cards kind of got stretched out and looked funky. And then if I scaled it and like just made it bigger to scale, it was kind of pushing everything on the right hand side, where the text from Twitch chat became really difficult to read. And then like the webcam got pushed out and stuff like that. So I need to figure that out. But yeah, I agree. There's a lot of blank space down here that I'm not like super thrilled with, and having a new UI would be awesome. Yeah, that's another option. I did consider that. I wasn't sure if it was gonna like if I went full screen, if it was gonna cover if it was gonna cover up anything that was really important. Yeah, so that was another consideration. Yeah, and maybe the chat's like not a big deal. I guess it depends on how people decide that they want to like interact with the stream. I think it's really cool, like if somebody like logs in and they kind of want to see, some of the things that you're saying, because it gives everybody a way to interact. Like as you were saying earlier, where it's like, oh, what if, maybe we should just go all in here because he might have he might have become immense or something like that. And I think that gives other people that might be playing this deck, maybe trying to learn from some of the choices and lines of play that I'm taking, they also get to learn from like you as a viewer, because they're like, oh yeah, like maybe this is a card I should be playing around, or oh yeah, like maybe I wasn't thinking about like Nature's Claim being a card that could gain me life and hit this Ichor Wellspring. So I like it for that reason. But again, if it comes down to a space issue and it's just like the UI just isn't working well and people prefer like the Twitch chat not to be there, I'm totally fine with getting rid of Twitch chat. I just think it's really cool because people get to learn and interact with me, but they also get to learn from and interact with you. Oh, right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. And your Twitch chat just covers the MTGO chat, which I usually have the MTGO chat like closed on the side, I think, but which just opens up that like space right there. But yeah, I could just do that. Let's see. Yeah, I see what you're saying. No, I agree with that. Like, that's definitely a thing I'm going to take into consideration. Yeah, no, that's good. Cool. Well, we're going to get ready to jump into another match here. And this is probably really awkward on stream chat, but I need to run to the restroom really quick. I'm drinking a lot of water. And so I'll be back in like 2 minutes, and then we'll hop into another match here. I guess while I do that, I would love to hear from you in chat. Do you play? Are you in the? I guess first of all, are you in the Facebook group, the post ban KCI group? Did you play KCI prior to the ban? And is this a deck that you're testing as well? I know that you mentioned something about Ravager. Okay, so you play the deck in paper. Awesome. Yeah, I think the deck is solid, man. Like, I really do. I remember seeing Canister, stream the deck, and I was like, yeah, like, this deck seems cool. Like, I have Mox Opals already, and, I never played KCI, but, I was like, I'm going to put this deck together. Actually tested it a little bit before MTGO. I was just testing it on X-Mage when I was still playing some X-Mage, and tested it, and I was like, wow, this deck, I had like a turn 2 win, like playing against control, and I was like, wow, this deck is kind of impressive. And then it just continued to be consistent. So I built it in paper, and I took it to one of our modern events at my local game store, and I was like, well, if I win a couple of games, like, that'd be cool. I'm just going to bring it and, just kind of get a little bit of, reps behind it. And I ended up going 3-0. And I went 3-0 that night and was super impressed by the deck. Went to another modern event. We did 4 rounds and went 3-1. I lost to Burn, just a timely destructive revelry, and it was really close. We went to 3 games, and I went 3-1 in that, and came back another night, went 4-0, and yeah. So it's just been really impressive, and so I'm really just testing it because I think that this deck could be a GP deck. I think this could be what I play in GP Vegas this year, and so I'm really just trying to get a lot of reps, a lot of testing behind it to make sure this is a deck I feel comfortable with in the meta. But I mean, it's been beating tier decks, man. Like, I've been beating. My buddy plays Scapeshift. I've beat Scapeshift. I've beat Is It Phoenix. I've beat Dredge, Eldrazi Tron. There's just so many decks that if they're not interacting with you and you just go off on turn 3 or turn 4, like, a lot of decks, like, you're just faster than them. Like, being able to race decks like Dredge and like Is It Phoenix and winning through my buddy, and through Tron. My buddy had I was playing against my buddy the other night. He had Relic of Progenitus and Oblivion Stone up, and I was able to still go off through all of that hate. And he had Nature's Claimed Semblance Anvil a couple of turns earlier, and yeah, the deck's just been gas. Dice Factory, Chalice, Dice Factory. Oh, so is Dice Factory just another version of like this type of deck? Because I've seen like another type of deck going around, and then I'm assuming if you're playing Chalice, you're not playing like this style of deck with all the eggs and that kind of thing. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. Please, keep typing. Feel free to post those responses. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. All right, let's Let's see. Surge Node. You know, and I like a lot of the like ensnaring bridge decks. I was a Lantern Control player, day two'd with that as well, and that's been, you know, a deck that was really close to my heart as well. But so I'll definitely have to check this deck out. Also, like the new like Whir decks, like Grixis Whir and you know, ensnaring bridge, like the new Tezzeret. I guess it's not really like new, but like the Tezzerator prison deck is pretty sweet. Oh, nice. Yeah, 4-color Whir looks really strong. That was like another consideration. It might still be at some point, but you know, I've really just been jamming this deck. But yeah, I think Whir is super strong, and it definitely fits my play style. I love like prison decks and just, I guess, all artifact decks in general. But yeah, Whir's put up some great results as well. So let's just jump into, I'm going to jump into another game here. Mono green control, interesting. I don't know that I've seen that deck really either. Let's see. Let's try to join in on this game. Let's see what our opponent's up to. Let me drag this over. All right, so let's see. We don't need this up. Yeah, so I guess if I like pull this out on the side over here, then that would leave room for like putting chat right there instead of just having this all like full screen or whatever. Well, we won the die roll. That's good. I actually like this hand. This deck's kind of weird sometimes because, you know, like you may not start off with a combo piece in your hand. Like Mirror Retriever isn't necessarily a combo piece. Like we kind of need Semblance Animal and Grinding Station. But just with so much like of the cyclers, yeah, we want to play Terrarian out first. Obviously, it comes into play tapped, and that's really good for us to do that. Watery Grave. Are we playing against Grixis Shadow or something? Mono green is just kind of hard to read the cards if you don't know what they are. Are you saying that like in my stream right now, that it's hard to read the cards? It might be because of the I think it's like a little bit scaled down right now. Yeah. Yeah, that's something I need to work on as well. Let's go ahead and cycle. We have a Terrarion, so we're going to cycle the Terrarion. And we're just going to add green. There's no reason to add blue right now. We don't have 3 mana for Psy anyway. And speaking of the devil, there's Psy. So we have a couple options. We could, you know, if we didn't have another green source, I'd be kind of tempted to Ancient Stirrings right now. But I think it's really important to not get ahead of ourselves. Well, we are kind of playing a Thoughtseize deck, maybe. But we want to usually play out our cantrips early, just because we might draw something that we need off of the top, and we don't really, you know, if it's like right on top, we don't need to use this Ancient Stirring. So I kind of like to spend my mana efficiently, and then I'm just going to play this Ichor Wellspring. And there's our prime example of drawing a Grinding Station off of the top of our Ichor Wellspring. So now when we cast this Ancient Stirrings, okay, it's really rare, I think, for Grixis Shadow to do nothing in the first 2 turns. So we could just be playing like against a Grixis control deck. Oh, you think it's Death Shadow? Yeah, maybe it's Death Shadow. It just seems really like weird that they would like do nothing in the first 2 turns. They play so much hand disruption, and you know, usually like if they're playing a game this slow, maybe their hand's really bad, which I think they did mulligan, right? Like, so let's go ahead and start with the Darksteel Citadel, and then let's see, I can play this, and then I can cycle it, have a green floating. Yeah, you know, I think I'm just gonna play an Ichor Wellspring. Yeah, he could end of turn scour himself. Yeah, he probably did just keep like a super weird hand. Okay, so we have a land. And I could just play Chromatic Star, which I think I'll do. Like, I could Ancient Stirrings this turn, but in case he Thought Seizes us or something, I'd like to have this Ancient Stirrings in hand. So I'm just going to play out this Chromatic Star because we basically, when it cycles next turn, you know, it's still just like having the mana for it. And then we also have, if he just passes again and just like leaves up mana, like maybe for, I don't know, Stubborn Denial, which is really bad right now. But if he leaves up Stubborn Denial, then, oh, okay. Grixis Hollow One. I'm so, okay. Kind of confused here. Okay, wow. That looks nasty. Oh, you know what I bet this is? This is maybe that Electro Dominance deck, or Flamewake Phoenix. Like, this is like Hollow One, but are they just playing the card that you just bring a creature, like a legendary creature back or something from your graveyard? That seems weird. Interesting. Okay, let's start by cycling this for a green. So we drew a Scrap Trawler. I guess we could have actually just cycled for blue there because we didn't need to cycle for green. Now that we have Psy, let's see. If I play this out, I can cycle that for a blue, and then we could play Psy out this turn if we wanted to. Because if we Ancient Stirrings off of this and we find, yeah, if we do find Semblance Anvil, yeah, I think so too. Like if we hit Anvil, like we're pretty far ahead here. No Anvil, that's okay though. You know, these stars will cycle and add mana in the next turn, so I think I'm just going to play that as well as it gives us other things in the graveyard. And yeah, let's just actually just play out 2 stars. I was kind of half tempted to just like play out a Scrap Trawler, but we have 4 land. If we hit the Anvil, then we're on 4 mana, so hopefully our opponent just spends all their mana trying to do something really busted that just doesn't kill us. What is this thing? Flying, double strike. Yeah, sure. Is it Charm? Okay. So our opponent is definitely a graveyard deck. And maybe they're just trying to bring like giant creatures back from the graveyard. Ooh. Flameblade Adept this late in the game is definitely an awkward draw. Yeah, Goblin Lore. Tassiger, okay. Sure. They have 1 card in hand. But yeah, they can't do that. So we're going to draw a lot of cards this turn. Another Scrap Trawler. Interesting. Let's start by cycling this. I'm going to do this for a blue, just because maybe we want to play our Psy if things end up really weird for us this turn. Oh, yes, draw a card. Yeah, we don't have any 0 drops in our graveyard, so there's no point in this Scrap Trawler yet. So let's go ahead and cycle this. Oh, that was weird. It didn't let me choose. Oh, gosh damn it. It didn't let me choose what color I wanted to add. Let's see here. So yeah, I think what we're going to do here is we're actually just going to play out our Psy. And then we're also going to play out. Is there a chance? No, there's no chance. They have Death Shadow in their deck, so we don't need to worry about giving them life, right? Like that. It's not a thing. Okay, so we get a Thopter. Cool. And then we're just going to pass the turn. 4 Soul Flare. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I've seen this deck before. Yeah. Yeah, Soul Flare is gross. Oh, Hazoret. Okay. But he's still, yeah. Okay. Yeah, Psy ended up kind of being really good for us there. Let's see. How do they want to attack? Yeah, so I think I'm just going to throw this Thopter in front of Hazoret, and then like we can take 4. I'm not really too worried about taking 4. Okay. And draw. Semblance Anvil. No. All right. Well, you know, I'm thinking I want to play another Scrap Trawler and then just being able to draw cards with Psy and have a bunch of triggers. Sounds really good. So, yeah. And then we get another Thopter, which we can use to block. That's really nice. So if we spend 2 mana, we still have 2, and then we sack the 2 Wellsprings, draw 3 cards, and then bring 3 1-drop, actually every 1-drop from our graveyard back because of all the Scrap Trawler triggers. True. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's our... Well, no, I don't know that I want to start, like, milling yet. I don't have, like, a Buried Ruin. I'd rather try to, like, draw a bunch of cards to draw into a Semblance Anvil, because that's really what we need. So I think I'm just going to... Yeah, I think I'm just going to pass like this. Yeah, because I really want to hit a Semblance Anvil, and we have Psy as a sack outlet right now. And sometimes I undervalue that with Psy a little bit. Oh, I thought they were bringing that in untapped for a minute. I was like, good gosh, what do they need to bring that in untapped for? Okay. And we can still block here and like sack things in response. Like that's fine. We can take 6 here and go to 10. Let's block like this. And you know, we can sack that in response if we want to, because we have enough to sack. But then we'd have to like sack. Well, we can sack a Darksteel Citadel too, actually. So let's block like this. And then before damage, let's go ahead and pay a blue and a colorless, and then we will sack this, and let's just sack a Darksteel Citadel. Yeah, the only problem is like playing out the grinding station last turn is I get looks for an anvil, but I get the Scrap Trawler triggers of bringing back the stars, but I still have to pay the 1 mana for them as well. And yeah, true. I mean, I guess like all the cycling stuff, I can just put them on 1 and I have sack outlets. So maybe that would have been like a line that like worked out, but strings is good. Let's see. What does our opponent have? Okay. Could they potentially have a counter spell or something like that? I don't. Okay, let's sack both of these in the end step, and we have a lot of triggers. So with that, we bring that back. We'll bring back Terrarion. We'll bring back Star. We'll bring back Star. And we'll draw a lot of cards. Oh, there's Semblance Anvil. There's another Semblance Anvil. All right, and we got a Buried Ruin. That's pretty gas. Just sack 2 cards, draw 2. Yeah, that could have been a good line to take. Like maybe last turn, just playing out the grinding station. to sack some things. Could have been really good. Well, let's just see here. If our opponent does have, I'm going to play out Buried Ruin as our land because in case something gets counterspelled, I guess, or something. But yeah, we have another Semblance Anvil, so we're not like really that worried about like playing around whatever they have. So, and we're just gonna get a ton of triggers, and all these triggers sometimes make it even harder online to like beat the clock because of all of your scrap trawler triggers when everything dies. Okay. Yep. And yeah, we'll yield triggers from that, and then just in case, let's just get rid of a. Yeah, let's get rid of a Terrarion. Seems fine. And okay, let's yeah, I guess just to play around anything that they could have, let's just go ahead and play out this grinding station. And like making all the Thopters is really nice too. I mean, are they gonna counter us or something? Okay. Okay. Sure. And then now with untapped triggers, like we just get to find our Mirror Retriever here. So let's go ahead and just get rid of a Thopter. We don't really need Thopters. We have a way to exile their graveyard. Don't need that yet. Okay. And let's go ahead and just play this out, which is going to make a Thopter. We can sack the Thopter with the untap trigger on the stack. We really just need to find our. I need to kind of see our graveyard here. Ooh, I don't want it that big though. Okay, so let's go ahead and mill ourself. Oh, actually, let me tap this for mana first so we can get the scrap trawler triggers off of it. So tap for a green. Let's go ahead and mill ourself. By sacking this. Grinding station. Yeah, no second Mirror Retriever yet, but that's fine. Yep. Yep. And then with the untapped trigger on the stack. Yeah, for the first sack, yeah, I agree. That was definitely the best play there. Sack the Thopter. Nothing yet. This enters. Yep. No, we're not going to exile an artifact. Yes, and then we're going to mill ourselves, sack this Semblance Anvil. That's really important that we sack the right one. And then we have Ichor Wellspring and also another Ichor Wellspring. And wow, playing this online is going to be really challenging. I'm half tempted with all of this to just start milling my opponent, but I know that's not correct. But with all of these triggers, it's really going to be challenging here because we have to. Oh, we did find our Mirror Retriever, so okay. Yeah, let's just. Wow, we're gonna have a lot of triggers here. Yes. We're basically gonna draw, like, get every card back from our graveyard, but yeah, let's yield. It doesn't even really matter what we get with all these scrap trawler triggers at this point. I'm just gonna put always yield because we have a lot to. Okay. Always yield. Resolves, untap trigger on the stack, sack the Mirror Retriever. I thought we always yielded to these. Terrarion, always yield. And then with Mirror Retriever, bring back Mirror Retriever. And obviously at this point, it's just really trivial. Okay, untap, grinding station, yeah. I guess like if we're just sacking like the Thopters when they come in as well, then eventually I think when we bring everything back, it's just like okay. Mirror Retriever, we bring back Mirror Retriever, and then with Scrap Trawler, we bring back whatever. Untaps. Sack a Thopter. Yes, bring that back. Inners. We just have so many triggers. So many triggers. Oh boy. Okay, how many cards do our opponent have? 18. Okay, this is challenging. We're definitely going to be racing the clock into game 2. And I really want to take a look at what our opponent has, because I think you're right. I think they're a Soul Flayer deck for sure. That would make the most sense here. Okay, yep, we're making a Thopter. We are doing it. Okay, only 9 cards left. Watch the last card just be an Emrakul. Tilt. Okay, 6 cards. So they're definitely waiting on our clock here. So before they scoop, let's take a look at their graveyard so we can kind of better. Okay, yep, they got the double strikers. A lot of stuff to put stuff in the graveyard, including Is It Charmed, Street Wraith. Where's their payoff? Yep, if creature card with flying was exiled. Yeah, so everyone they exile, yeah. So, and is this a, yeah, so it's a 4/4. And they can turn it into things like Double Strike, Vigilance, Trample, Lifelink, Death Touch. Haste is pretty dirty. Got to watch out for that. Yeah, so yeah, that's fine, I guess. So yeah, they have Delve. So they're just a graveyard deck. Okay. All right, now where is our? Oh, there's our Mirror Retriever. Okay. I was like, where's our Mirror Retriever? It's right here. Yeah. And then we're just going to play it. And then obviously they have no cards left. There's another hollow one. I mean, why not, right? Like, why not just play hollow one? Okay, so now we just need to pass turn and somehow manage to get through. Oh, and now I just got to discard like a million cards. Doesn't even matter what we discard. Okay. Man, yeah, all these triggers just takes forever. I guess we just need to play faster in the next game. Yeah, playing online is definitely a challenge. Maybe he just runs his clock down too. That'd be nice. Maybe our opponent left to go make a sandwich. Okay, so they're definitely just black, red, and they do have blue in the deck. So that they can cycle this card. Oh, to give it hexproof, I see. Okay, so that they can give their Soul Flayer hexproof. How many Soul Flayers do they have? 1, 2, 3, probably 4 would make sense, right? Is it only 3? Yeah, he hasn't played a Soul Flayer. There's a Soul Flayer here, a Soul Flayer here, that's 2. Soul Flayer here, that's 3, and I'm not seeing a 4th one. You'd think if you're a Soul Flayer deck, you would want 4, but I guess they just need like a lot of other value from other creatures though too, so it's pretty interesting. It's an interesting deck. Well, our opponent is making themselves a sandwich right now, and we're fine with that. All right, so our opponent is just chilling right now on their time clock, and that's good for us in League, but since we're doing just some more casual play on this stream tonight and not doing a League, then, you know, just sitting here while our opponent is timing out. Okay, so they finally came back from making their sandwich. We're definitely racing a time clock here. Tormod's Crypt is better than normal here, I think. Okay, so our opponent just conceded the match, even though we didn't have a lot of time left on our clock, but maybe they just didn't feel like... maybe they played a lot of KCI back in the day. Let's update our stream. Let's go... all right, so we have officially moved to 3-0 with our opponents just conceding on us. It won't happen as much in League, so once we start playing Leagues and start gearing up for that, then we'll be fine. Well, I don't know, though. Once people... there's a lot more at stake in Leagues, but if our opponents really hate KCI, then they're going to really hate our deck as well. So I'm sure that's happening all over the place. Well, let's try to jump into like one more here. And all right, let's see. I'm just trying to bring this up here. Okay, so we won the die roll. Wow, we are getting a lot of no landers tonight, and this is not usual. This hand's really great. If we were on the draw... Oh, we are on the draw. Man, if we hit a land... We kind of need 2 lands, though. If we had a green source... Oh, this hand is so good, but we need to mulligan it. Just a really big risk. We can keep this. We're going to put this on the bottom. Okay, because we really want to hit a land drop here. If we get Inquisitioned and they take our star, kind of feels bad. Okay, so they might just take our star. We're definitely a little starved for mana right now. Like, is it really even like something to think about here? Like, I think, like if you're the opponent, you just take star, right? Like there's, I mean, maybe they're just like reading everything. Maybe they just think we're a Psy deck. We're just a Thopter deck, Thopter tribal. Yeah, that was definitely the correct play. But unfortunately for our opponent, we did draw the land. So we do get to pop this Terrarion, which gave us a 1-drop that we can actually cycle next turn into an Ichor Wellspring, which is really good for us. Although I'd like to be able to have blue mana for Psy. Sure. Draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. What is our opponent playing? Yeah, I think we just need to cycle to dig deeper. Okay. Okay, so just go ahead and play this Mox Opal out, actually. Like, are we just playing against like an 8-rack deck or something? Black-white tokens? Are they keeping up interaction? How do they not have anything to play on 3 mana with that many cards in their hand? I'm really confused. Okay, let's just play out a star. Let's see. Let's go ahead and just play out an Ichor Wellspring. I kind of like having these cards in my hand if I'm trying to get value off of Psy, but you know, we also just want to kind of like dig deeper into our deck as well. So, and we kind of need to figure out like what is our opponent, like what are they playing? Lingering Souls. Well, that's not very good against us, but I like the fact that they tapped out. If that's their only source of pressure, 1, 2, 3. We're really close to being able to have this Inventor's Fair, but yeah, I think we just go ahead and like Psy is just going to be a really big issue for Lingering Souls, right? Actually, let's tap this. Yeah, let's tap. Yeah, let's go ahead and tap this just for colorless. We'll cycle this for blue. And so we have blue mana, Mirror Retriever, not bad. And then we'll tap this for green, and we'll go ahead and play out a Psy. And then we'll play out an Inventor's Fair and a Terrarion and start getting some value there. Assuming our opponent like has Path or some kind of removal spell for this Psy, but we got a Thopter out of it, and Psy is not really our main game plan anyway. Sure, yeah, they can take our Ichor Wellspring. That's fine. So 1, 2, 3. We're really close to being able to like tutor when we need to for Inventor's Fair. We can tutor for Engineered Explosives or something, whatever we need. Obviously, we want to like tutor for our combo pieces, but that's just if we need to buy ourselves some time. But I also like having blue mana to sack these Ichor Wellsprings, draw 3 cards off of Psy. We have another Psy in hand. Do they just flashback Lingering Souls, maybe? Okay, yeah, Field of Ruin, sure. Should have another forest left in our deck, right? Yeah, sure. Yeah, they don't have black up for like Fatal Push anymore, so we're okay trading with a Spirit. And they don't have black up to flash that back either, so. Sai is legendary. Yeah, we'll still have, yeah. Let's go ahead and do this. And yeah, let's do green and blue. Draw a card. Ooh, I like having a scrap trawler. That's kind of nice. Because then when we start sacking these Ichor Wellsprings, we can get some value back. So let's go ahead and play. Okay, getting another spirit, or not a spirit, a Thopter. And then we can play the Mox Opal out, and then also play out our Mirror Retriever. So we'll get 3 Thopters this turn. I'm assuming if they had a path, they would like just path our Sai, but I'm just gonna do this before we attack and get in there for 1. Although like we can block the Shambling Vent with Sai if we need to. And that's probably better. Like there's not really like getting in there for 1 is fine, but we're definitely gonna keep this. And then we're gonna play a Mirror Retriever. Seems good. And if they path it, like that's fine. We're getting so much like value off of Sai that I wouldn't doubt that they like if they're going to like path something, they're probably gonna want to path our Sai because Lingering Souls is just so bad against Thopters. Oh, okay. Sure. Sure. I wasn't necessarily thinking about that card, but sure. Blessed Alliance is just not a card you see being played a ton anymore, but okay. Drawing cards, losing life. Okay, more Lingering Souls. Sure. They don't want to trade. Yeah, they knew we had the other side. Like, might as well just play it out. Yeah, if we trade Mirror Retriever, it's like not the worst thing. Let's see, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right now. So we could attack for 7. If they take it, they go to 9. Like, I don't really want this Scrap Trawler to die yet, though. So I think, let's see. We're at 19, so we're like at a we're at a pretty healthy life total, I'd say. So why not? Why not? Let's. Yeah, we get 2 triggers if we attack with this Mirror Retriever. So we actually get a lot more things to bring back. And we do have like Buried Ruin as well, but like, let's just go all in with these guys. If Mirror Retriever dies, like that's fine. I'm not too concerned about it. Okay, and let's just play Ancient Stirrings. Let's see, we can get more value this turn if we just play Mox Opal. Yeah, let's just keep getting value. I'm fine with that. Nothing else that was really like that worth it, so. All right. Our opponent definitely has a lot of land. They can get rid of our Buried Ruin if they want. I mean, I'm still fine. They might have Fatal Push. So if I block and kill a spirit and they have Fatal Push, then they can Fatal Push Sai. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. Like Sai is kind of valuable right now. So I'm actually okay if, well, if they have Fatal Push though, they could have just Field of Ruined anyways. So it's really not that big of a deal. Like there's no reason to not just like trade there, but that's fine. Explosives. Well, yeah, let's go in with all of our, let's go in with all 4 of our Thopters right now. So we're gonna put this on 0. Make another Thopter. Our opponent's at 8 right now. And then in the end step, I can still just use Sai to sacrifice all of these things and get Scrap Trawler triggers. So I'm not too worried about having mana up. Yeah, so we'll still have these online. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that, and we're just gonna sack this up. Yeah, I think he's got another. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Sorry, I didn't even see. Oh, I did sweep. I swept my Mox Opal. Oh, I did not want to do that. That's okay. Well, he's got the Shambling Vent too. Oh, I did not want to sweep my Mox Opal. I was not even thinking about that. All right, let's see what we got. Wow. Let's see. I can keep Buried Ruin up. Darksteel Citadel, another Mirror Retriever. Yeah, we're definitely kind of in an awkward spot right now. Because he can just block with Shambling Vent if I attack with Mirror Retriever, and then it just dies and he gains 2, so there's not really like any value there. So and he's gonna gain 2 on the backswing. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we haven't really seen a lot of combo pieces yet. I think I just bring this Engineered Explosives back, right? Like, let's see. Yeah, and then he blocks with like Shambling Vent. Like, this is definitely a token deck, so I feel like having access to buried or a Engineered Explosives is really good. Yeah, I could play it on 2, but Engineered Explosives. Yeah, I mean, I could play it on 2, which is going to give me a lot of triggers if I draw the other land, maybe. If I just draw land, like maybe that's the best grinding station. Yeah, like 2 is pretty good. It hits his intangible virtue. I'm taking 4 there. I got to go to 11. If he has like something that puts like some tokens into play at the end of the turn, that's going to feel pretty bad, but yeah, I'm pretty close to. Yeah, I think we're right. Let's just play it on 2. 2. If I attack, he can block with a spirit and trade. And I'd rather not lose my scrap trawler before the EE goes off. Because then, like, with all the triggers, yeah, that's definitely ideal. Because we can just bring this back, assuming that we don't lose our scrap trawler here. Sure. He gives his creatures +1/+1. Is that what he's gonna do? Yeah. And lifelink. Yeah, that's pretty gross. So we take 6. But I think when we crack this, we get to bring it back on the same turn with all the triggers. I kind of want to just pop it this turn instead of waiting, because then I can play it again for 0. Yeah, I think because, yeah, we can just bring it back this turn. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and do it this turn. And we're going to get a bunch of triggers here. I'm really glad they didn't have like a path for Scrap Trawler in response. Yeah, so we get a bunch of Scrap Trawler triggers. So Scrap Trawler trigger. First Scrap Trawler trigger. Let's bring back, what do we have? We have Chromatic Stars, Terrarions, Mox Opals. You can bring it back and Opal and sweep. Yeah, and then we also get a Mirror Retriever one, so we just get like a lot back this turn. So let's do to, gosh, we could even bring back like a bunch of opal. We can eventually even sweep that Sorin probably if we needed to. Okay, so first Scrap Trawler trigger. Let's bring back Chromatic Star. Second. Let's see. What is it pointing to? Oh, this one is showing that we're bringing back Chromatic Star. Okay. So with this one, let's bring back the other Chromatic Star. With this one, let's bring back the Explosives. And then with Mirror Retriever, we can actually bring back another Ichor Wellspring. Right? Yeah, let's just do, or do I want another Mox Opal? No, let's just bring back an Ichor Wellspring. And then we're going to draw some cards. Okay, so we need to leave mana up because we need to play this for 0 right now. X is 0. So I'm not going to play my Mox Opal out this turn and make that mistake again. So yeah, I'd like to be able to, well, let's see, we could play Mox Opal, crack a star. We could cast this. That brings back Mox Opal. Yeah, we could play out a star, play out a Mox Opal, and then use the 2 to crack that. That brings back Mox Opal. Yeah, maybe we just pass with this up. Yeah, I guess let's just pass. Let's just pass with this up. They're at 11. Yeah, I think we don't want to take, oh, we're taking 2. I don't think I even want to take the 2. I think I just want to crack, blow those up. Yeah, they're going to create another token, but we can kind of like, if they don't have an answer to, okay, why are they just like, okay, they're just going to keep playing tokens out, but that's fine because we can do some really busted things. Assuming they don't have an answer to Scrap Trawler still. Start with a Chromatic Star and then cracking it. Let's just crack it for a green. And Scrap Trawler trigger, let's just bring back our trusty EE. So we have a green floating. Let's play this for 0. This and that to crack it. Let's pay 1, 2. Let's go ahead and crack it. And then let's go ahead and play another star. Oh, okay. That's we float a green. Well, actually, is that what we want to do? Yeah, I guess it is. maybe I should have done that a different way. I think we try, like, maybe they just, well, if we attack and they just, it's kind of tricky, because if we attack and then, yeah, I think we have to play it out like this, because yeah, because if we attack and they have some way to, like, bring in flash spirits, then they just pump them in the shambling vent, and then we just lose to that. But they're only at 11, so it's just a long, grindy game. Okay, so Field of Ruin probably means they drew a Fatal Push. Yeah, we don't have any lands. Okay, Gideon's a thing. Like, EE's really good against them, though, obviously. Well, let's see here. I could just play an additional Scrap Trawler after I blow this up. But then he has Gideon, too. Gideon's lethal on his own. We have a grinding station. Like, I think... We have a Mirror Retriever in the graveyard already. We really just need another Mirror Retriever, honestly. Okay, so just in case, we're just gonna go ahead and pass here. Wow. Our clock is, like, way down, though. Like, we're not gonna finish this game, I don't think. We're just like I think we're, like, in a good spot to win this game, but sure. Okay, so we're definitely gonna put a Scrap Trawler here, and then we're gonna get some triggers off of that, and then we're gonna spin 2 to pop the explosives. Okay, so with that trigger, we're gonna bring back Mirror Retriever, and then with the other trigger, I'm gonna bring back I think I have a 1-drop to cycle already, but Let's do Chromatic Star. Yeah, it's really unfortunate for us that this is just such a grindy game, and there's just so many ways to have to click and stuff on here that makes it really hard. Let's start just by sacking this and add green-blue, and then get a scrap trawler trigger, bring back the explosives, and Terrarion, draw a card. Well, there's a Semblance Anvil. So that's a good start to being able to combo. I think we have enough where we just like go off here anyway, but it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of late. Green, this, and a blue. It's kind of really late, but anyway, always yield. We'll get rid of a grinding station. We're gonna play a grinding station. We're gonna, let's see, yeah, we still need the other mirror retriever, so we need to sack ourselves. Actually, let's start by sacking a Darksteel Citadel first. We're not gonna finish this game, but that's a spoiler alert. I mean, we might finish, it's gonna be close. We might finish this game, but we're definitely not finishing a match here with all the clicks. Okay, I guess we are finishing. We finished the match, okay. Maybe they just realized that they, just all the value off of engineered explosives is just so good. Oh, sorry, I'm like typing this out and I'm realizing I can also talk to you. Yeah, I think he definitely could have been just attacking with his Shambling Vent by giving it +1/+0, but it only does give it +1/+0, not +1/+1. So Shambling Vent turns into a 2/3, so it would have been a 3/3, but it still just trades with the Scrap Trawler. And earlier in the game, I also had Buried Ruin, which he had a Field of Ruin. I think he could have just like taken care of it there as well. But I think once I had another, I think he was just worried about like Scrap Trawler trades with a Shambling Vent, and then it can just get back a Mirror Retriever, which Mirror Retriever dying in some way to just like brings back the Scrap Trawler. I'm not sure why he wasn't like maybe trying to advance that game plan. I think he just realized that it was going to be a not so great trade for him because I was just going to block with my Scrap Trawler and then be able to bring something back from my graveyard. And maybe he was onto the fact that I was a combo deck, and maybe he's even aware of kind of what I was playing, and maybe just didn't want to give me more cards or something like that. I'm not really sure. Would have been interesting to find out why he didn't want to do that. I'm really surprised our opponent actually conceded the match there. People are just conceding the entire matches. Maybe they just don't want to play against it because it's very similar to KCI, and some of the turns can be very long and uninteractive. And the deck's just so grindy. Like, you think of a combo deck as just like being fast and just going off really fast. And if it gets there, it gets there. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But like, that's what impresses me about this deck is like in that situation, like how many times did we like threaten to engineer explosives them, or actually did engineer explosives them? Like every time they were playing tokens with a Scrap Trawler out, like we just kept making more and more, or just getting back engineered explosives over and over and over again. And I think they just realized too that even with Gideon out, like they still weren't able to advance their board very quickly with all of the triggers and things we have. Yeah, see, I think See, I've done really well with this deck, and I actually think it's a mistake to play out Grinding Station too early. Grinding Station is good, but and playing it out early, I feel like sometimes causes your opponents to play out the game in a different way. They feel like they're under a lot more pressure, and so they maybe turn up the heat a little bit. But a lot of times I just don't see a reason to play out my Grinding Station and mill myself if I don't have a way to, if I don't have the Semblance Anvil, because I can't bring Semblance Anvil back easily. And I guess in that case, I could have gone Grinding Station if I needed to, and I got one in my graveyard, sack my Scrap Trawler, bring back my Mirror Retriever, sack the Mirror Retriever, bring back the Semblance Anvil. But I'm still in a really weird spot there because I need some way to bring that Mirror Retriever back to my hand when I get the other one in my graveyard. And yeah, no, it is doing something. No, I agree. It is doing something. You're putting cards in your graveyard. I also don't like exposing my Grinding Stations. I mean, if I have two, I guess it's fine, but I don't like exposing my Grinding Stations to like random hate cards that they could have, or cards that could destroy like a permanent. Like they have like Anguished Unmaking or something like that. I don't really like exposing them. I like my opponents to feel safe. And I like them to feel safe to tap out, like for Lingering Souls or whatever it is, until all of a sudden, like, oh, I just have a couple of stars in play and maybe a Terrarion or two, and then all of a sudden I just kind of draw the Semblance Anvil and then just play everything out and just go off after they've tapped out. And if they see me kind of advancing the board and drawing a ton of cards and things like that, or just like making those plays, sometimes I don't know, I found that the games play out a little differently. Yeah, so if I get Semblance Anvil in the yard, so let me see. If I get Semblance Anvil in the yard, if I played out Grinding Station, then Semblance Anvil goes to the yard, and then I sacrifice the Scrap Trawler, bring back the Mirror Retriever, then sack the Mirror Retriever, bring back the Semblance Anvil, and then I pay 3 and I play the Semblance Anvil, but I'm still looking for a piece at that point. I guess if I have a lot of ways to draw cards after that, it's still fine. But it feels really bad if I just have to like play all that stuff out and then I still whiff and I don't have the Mirror Retriever, because if I go through all of that and I just have a Semblance Anvil out and a Grinding Station, and then I'm like, oh, now all I need to do is get one Mirror Retriever back, and then they Anguished Unmaking my Semblance Anvil, I'm down 2 cards, and it just feels really bad. I don't know. Yeah, if they have it, they have it. Yeah, like if they have it, they have it. With this deck, I'm usually banking on my opponents not really knowing what I'm doing and not knowing what I'm up to. So yeah, I don't know. I've just found like playing out Grinding Station without Semblance Anvil in play, I found it to be not as beneficial for me a lot of the games that I've done that. And maybe there's another way that I could be playing it. I've just been always playing it where I'm usually just using the first 3 to 4 turns, like developing my hand and crafting my hand for the combo, and then I'm usually just kind of going all in on the combo in a turn before I'm exposing my pieces. But like in that instance, I think it was probably okay, just because I did have a Scrap Trawler and I had a Mirror Retriever in the yard. But if I don't have either one of those, I still don't like playing Grinding Station out, because I don't have anything to do. I don't have anything to do with my Grinding Station other than just like put cards in my graveyard. And then I kind of have to like, if I don't have a Buried Ruin or something like that, especially, I'm just not doing a whole lot. I don't know. That game maybe could have played out differently, like had I played the grinding station out earlier. And that game I felt like yeah, with the notion that I did have the with the scrap trawler and the mirror retriever. Yeah. I think I was just playing a really weird I was playing out a really weird game plan though. Cuz yes, I did have like maybe a 2-turn clock or something to get the anvil back, but I can't really afford to sack. I don't know. I felt like if I sacked, like let's say I do like spend a turn sacking my scrap trawler. I mean, I guess I could have just like used it to block and then just used the block to bring back the mirror retriever, and do it that way. It was kind of that game played out really weird actually, with just needing the engineered explosives value was kind of making me want to like have my scrap trawler hanging around a little bit longer, and just getting triggers. And I only played it out because I felt like I was in a situation where I could continue to grind, and I didn't feel like I was under immediate pressure to just be like, oh, I have to go off now. I felt like the position I was in, especially with him just being like mainly a tokens deck, being able to just continue to sit around, like draw cards, like craft my hand, and bring back engineered explosives like over and over again, just felt really really powerful. But yeah, like maybe just playing out the grinding station there could have made that game play out differently. So I definitely see your argument. Especially when I had 2 scrap trawlers out, like I think I was just like maybe playing a little bit too scared around like a path or something. I don't know. I was just kind of worried about getting path before I could get some value too. But no, I definitely appreciate the feedback, man, because that's why I love like Twitch chat and just having people to give feedback during games, is because there's definitely always going to be lines that maybe I'm not seeing or not thinking about that could have made a game play out differently than how it did play out. I think we our opponent conceded, and I think obviously we were going to get that game either way, I think. But some lines could definitely make us get there quicker, or could be better at playing around other things. So yeah, with our opponents conceding, I'm actually surprised our opponent conceded that last game. I mean, our time clock was under so much pressure. It was going to be really hard for us to win game 2, and if we there was no way we were getting to a game 3. What events do we have coming up? Modern. Need to play jam a modern tournament here soon. We need to do a league. But yeah, so that's KCI 2.0, as the deck was called originally by Canister, and I've just been calling it that. We managed to squeak out like a 4-0 just by our opponents mainly just not wanting to play against our deck anymore. But I think we did get to test the stream out, and we did get to kind of showcase the deck. I got to kind of show my list a little bit of what I've been running, and got to get some great feedback, from you, our viewer, as well, and that other people who go back and watch this, because I'm recording it, and I hope the recording comes out good, but the other people can kind of go back and look and see a lot of the things that you said and different lines that could have been taken, and kind of learn from that as well. But and I'd love to hear other people's feedback of different cards we could try out, or different lists we could try to test out. I'll definitely have to test Karn out again, and then also the Arcbound Ravager, give that a little bit more time. And then I'm almost thinking about trying to find room for a 3rd engineered explosives in the main deck somewhere. Really like that. Cool, man. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you, following as well, and hopefully we can just kind of continue to jam this thing and continue to grind out. And I'm always happy to, like, if people give me lists they want me to try out or something like that, I'm always happy to do that as well. Like I said, I've just been testing this this list a lot in preparation for Vegas, and I plan on doing that a lot. But I'm also wanting to, like, jam some Pauper, and then I do play Standard and stuff as well. So, but yeah, man, hope you'll continue to tune in, and I appreciate you following and checking out my stream and really being my first supporter. I really do appreciate that. So, and all the feedback that you've given has been great too. I really do appreciate that. Awesome, man. Well, I am going to hop off to the stream for now, but we will definitely be back. Hopefully we'll get, like, maybe a regular schedule, if that helps everybody, a schedule for people to follow. It'll usually definitely be evenings or nights for me when I'm streaming. But, it should work with most people's schedules as well, just because of work and things like that. But yeah, we'll be back on to stream again, and hopefully this was a good test run, and appreciate you tuning in. So we will catch you guys on the next one. See you later.